are back. This time it will be a TBZ, Maru versus Solar, coming up next.
Yep, that is right. And this is a tougher one for me to predict. I feel like Maru has definitely been looking very weak in this tournament, but his GSL results looked okay, and he's so out of form. It's funny that Maru looks more like Deer in terms of form in this tournament than ever. Like, I feel like you could draw a comparison. He's had really good games in this tournament, but he's had really bad ones. But overall, he's had more bad ones than good ones. And Solar, this is not his best matchup by any means, but he seems to be playing better. Remember, he made finals last season, however, finds himself in 6th place. There's an incredible run through the gauntlet to make the finals against Innovation. Both series he won, going to the final game, having to defeat his teammate Stats on the way there. ZVZing against BL, and then falling down to Innovation and crushing one-sided series as those go.
Oh boy.
But
that's just Innovation things, right? 4-0ing everyone that he comes into contact with in finals.
So now, I mean, this is going to be a tough series. The map pool is going to be Newkirk, Abyssal. I don't know why I said Newkirk. I made that a verb. Newkirk Precinct.
Yeah, never want to get Newkirk for sure.
Well, that's what happened to Classic in game number 3, man. He didn't get it. He got coin tossed away. So,
got bopped.
Look at the results here for Maru. Okay, 1-2 to Deer. On day 1, on week 1, you're a little bit disappointed. But now in week 6, you're okay. Deer's looking good. 1-2 Innovation. Wow, he took game off Innovation. All right. But then you look, okay, 0-2 Classic, and he lost a game to Bjall, and you're starting to feel like, okay, this is not a bad Maru. This is not the Kespa Cup 2016 Maru that was looking really weak at the end of last year, but this is not the form that we saw in Pro League for Maru. This is not the same Maru that, of course, as an OSL champion. It's a different one, and it's not the dominant performances, and no one really knows why. We know he's still in the team house with Genera, other players that are also struggling right now, and Solar having the same performances, like I said, that he had last season, and this is not his best matchup, but I think you have to give him the slight edge going into this best of 3.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Solar is going to take this one. I think Maru should take one game off of Solar, should go to game number 3 if everything makes sense in the world. Sometimes it doesn't when you're watching StarCraft, but
sometimes you gotta hang your jersey up too when you get home. Don't ball it in the corner. It's gonna be all wrinkly. Like,
oh boy,
he's got the wrinkles going on, man. He's a wrinkly jersey on TV. Solar.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have an ironing board here at SPO. At least I don't think so. Maybe we can get that going, but yeah, both these guys 2 and 3. If they want to have a shot at making it into the finals, into the playoffs even first, they will have to win this game. It's getting later, and another important one on the line for both of these players. Solar, who went to the finals, getting through that gauntlet system, through all the other players, through Stats, through BL, and then eventually falling to Innovation, is looking to get there again, but he needs to take this win.
Absolutely. First map is going to be Newkirk. We're getting Newkirked together here.
Oh boy.
All right, both players at 2 and 3, trying to keep their heads above water in our regular season. Let's jump into game number 1 on Newkirk.
Always takes a couple of games to get the cheers right, but thankfully they're doing it. Here we go. That's a really early SCV going out on the map. Down on the bottom right, it is the proxy or the cheeser. It's Maru. He looks angry.
He looks like he's been told by his coach to do this, but he doesn't want to. His opponent, of course, the bottom left is Solar. That's like the kind of face we'd see in Pro League where Maru wants to proxy, but he went CC first because his coach told him to. He's like, oh. Yeah. Well, it is going to be the double. On this map with Maru, historically, this is what we've seen. This is not the map he highly prioritized. It was his second map choice, so it's not like he was depending his series on this proxy, but is going to be gasless as well. It's hyper-aggressive, old-school double racks. Almost feels BBS-esque, or BBS-esque.
What?
So sorry, BBS, of course, a Brood War build where you proxy like this and pull SCVs to try to bunker.
Supply.
Yeah, but you can't do that in StarCraft 2 anymore. Yeah. Only in the beta. If you were lucky enough to play during those times, as I did.
Fun times.
You got into
Very
Platinum League really fast because Platinum was the best league.
And after that, there was Diamond and Master and Grandmaster that were added to the system.
This Overlord, by the way, unlucky. Never lucky, baby rage.
Yeah. That's quite unfortunate for Solar. And a map like this, you know, you can say it's close by air, kind of, but it's not close for Overlords, especially if you don't send your first one. The first one would be getting there soon.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the second one is only halfway across, and Solar just has no idea.
It's the perfect position of Overlord scouts, or to avoid the Overlord scouts. It's the exact way any Zerg will send Overlords across the map. So right now, as soon as the bunker's almost finished, he's like, well, I get this for free, and now I'm going to harass this, and you never see this build anymore. I mean, this is the build MVP used to defeat Squirtle in Game 7 of the Grand Finals, so obviously in a different matchup, but this build is so, it feels irrelevant in Legacy of the Void, but it's always the Reaper that you see across the map that Maru is so famous for on Newkirk. You know, his game against Innovation in particular is the most famous of all, but he's just going to bunker this hatchery. Solar didn't know, so he's now a bit flabbergasted. He is going to try to muster enough lings to break this before the second bunker is ready. It's going to be a very tight window of time. I don't think he can do it, though, because this bunker is going to serve as a semi-wall, and I think he's just going to have to simply give up the hatchery.
Yeah. Already Maru is floating back to the main. He's already looking for a transition. But
drones out too.
Here we go. He's pulling everything. Will it be enough? It looks like it will be. All of the drones off the line. Getting to work on those bunkers. Looking to surround them. Gonna take them both down.
Would have been a different story with the third bunker there, but with the lack of reinforcing Marines, he will clear this.
And he keeps the hatchery alive too.
Yeah. And that was the most important part. So now he has double hatchery, he has the larva to make more drones to catch up in economy, and only now is Maru adding the second command center, and in fact may end up losing his Marines in the middle of the map as speed finishes. He's trying to hide them here.
There are 15 lings against 5 Marines, and he's just going into the main. He's going for the main. There is a wall up, but a reactor was making actually on the factory, so there's nothing out from that factory. There's only 5 Marines. Hellions are going to be made, and Solar knows that he can't really break it.
This is really cool if you can grab this queen, actually. Immediate micro by Solar, trying to kite here on creep. Not going to work out, though. And now Marines find drones here. Should have never happened, but it looks like Solar just tunnel visioned a little bit there with his lings. Even a spore cancel there to save one of those drones that was being targeted. He's got the third base coming up. The next 2 things he has to worry about, especially with that reduced queen count, is the Liberator coming across the map, a possible Hellion drop that we may see. Things like that are going to come across by air. By ground, he's set. Nothing to worry about from this stage on. And even, obviously, as he realizes this, he takes the third base. He's not worried about Marine pressure. He knows Stim is going to be very late. And in fact, he can even verify this right now. There's only 1 barracks, and then it's going to be a Liberator that comes out. So really nice timing with this Overlord to say, okay, Liberator's what he chose. Let's get in position. Let's make sure that doesn't catch us with our pants down here. Well done.
Yeah, really nice scout coming in, and kind of a slow start. I mean, I guess it was a fast start, but a slow start to the macro getting going for both of the players. You can see Solar, you know, his third base is late. He has a low drone count. Maru, his natural was late. So he will get that going. Now he's making an armory, and he has already made 6 Hellions. We'll have 8 when the next 2 pop out. So looking for a play with some Hellbats.
The Hellion's going to come in here at the same time as the Liberator, in fact. And even though he saw it, you know, I was wondering if he really saw it, what popped out of the Stargate or Starport, because I didn't see him click on anything. Like, he wasn't clicking on the Overlord when it flew past, so maybe he just simply didn't know. So he's going to try to draw him in 3 different directions here. He's got the Medevac and the Liberator, and of course those Hellions still live. You know, I was talking about how he doesn't have any fear by ground, but when he's pulled all of his units away, that's when they find their angle. And it's going to be 8 Hellions here. And as you said, we'll be Hellbats very shortly. This is still a very terrifying follow-up. And with Stim finishing, Maru could actually do a timing attack here with all of these units.
Oh, he's really pulling Solar apart here.
Yeah.
This will be defended, but in the main, the Hellbats, they're going in. And that Liberator is slowly dying at the natural. Down it goes.
Oh, man, he's got nothing for these. He's going to have to just micro back. He's going to have to pull these drones. Probably just send them to the third base. He leaves them here, though.
Drone barbecue. This is what we're looking for.
Oh, no!
I'm getting hungry. Okay, it looks like he is going to pull them away. Only 4 did go down at the end of the day.
Okay, he's not going to do a follow-up attack, though. He didn't do enough damage. He starts 2 E-base. He could, and a CC. He could have maybe gone for a big Hellbat Marine timing attack with Medivacs to heal the Hellbats if he did a little bit more damage. Say killed all the Queens and a few more drones. This isn't completely held yet, but it basically is. In fact, he's looking to kill the evac. Ooh. But Maru's going to go into the longer game. He did moderate damage, and it has the transition now to these upgrades. As Stim and Combat Shields are going to finish soon, he'll have a third base. They can put very safely on that location right to the left of his natural. So I like Maru's position. I'd say he's very slightly ahead, but it's a very even game, and it could have been disastrous for Solar had he lost a little bit more than this. It might have just been kind of game over. I guess these SCVs were supposed to be repairing the medevac, but they're on their phone texting, using that Snapchat or whatever the young people use these days back in the States.
Don't text and repair, guys.
Those SCVs are sliding into DMs right now. They're not focused on not focused on the action at hand.
They're back to mining, though, doing their job. And it looks like after all of that is held off, we are going to transition into a bit more of a macro stage in this one. Solar still on 3 bases, but has a very healthy drone count at 68. And we do have this attack coming in. No units in position, no spotters.
Oh, he's drawing units away here, and then he's going to hit the main base at the same time. Targets the Queen first. Drones pulled. This doesn't really have any units. He just made pure drones. That's why he's at 62 drones, but they're not going to be 62 for much longer if this continues. And this hatchery may just simply go down. If he actually uses these Hellbats on the Lings very correctly, as he does, gets the massive splash damage, I think this is going to be a potentially dead hatchery. Good micro here from Maru. This is not the timing I was speaking of, but it becomes so deadly because of the droning here for Solar. GG.
What the hell? He lost to 1 medevac.
Well, 2 to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
1 in the main there, the attack at the third base. He just made too many drones.
Yeah, that's a painful mistake, man. He's like, okay. He's thinking like me. He's like, okay, we're going into macro. Here we go, hidey-ho. Let's make a bunch of drones, but...
That's
the answer from Maru was just like, okay, I guess I'll just drop you with a couple of medevacs and you're not going to have anything. I guess I just win.
That's exactly how he did it, man. He went hidey-ho all the way.
Yeah.
You never go hidey-ho when there's Hellbats, medevacs on the other side of the map. Stim and Combat Shields are finishing. You never go hidey-ho. I think he went full hidey-ho because he saw the third base. He saw the third CC with that scouting link. He's like, I got a macro. I got to get ahead. Had the space for a long time, but I cleaned up his drops earlier. I'm going to drone up here. They didn't respect the fact that Hellbats do so much splash damage. He had the panic lings, which did come out in time, but the micro was too good for Maru there. And when you're behind the mineral line, it's not like Solar messed up by attacking the Hellbats. It's not like he was like, oh, well, he should have just attacked the Marines. Well, that just isn't going to work. And he can just pick them up and move them behind the Hellbats anyways. So
yeah. I wish I got a count on exactly like how many units he had, because if I just went into the unit tab, it probably would have read something like 68 drones, maybe 4 queens.
He was at
like 10 lings and 2 banelings.
I think he had like 18 lings and 62 drones, and he made 32 lings.
And
the first lings
drones.
Yeah, the first lings died, and then the rest of the lings came in, but the Hellbats were never killed. The hatchery got too low. It was dirty. It was messy.
Yeah, that's a rough mistake. That's not how you make it into playoff, Solar. You have to respect the attacks of the Terran, and I'm sure you will be as he jumps into game number 2, going into Abyssal Reef for Solar versus Maru.
Oh, man, again.
Here we go again. the SCV coming out, and down on the bottom right, it is Maru. He's just had enough, man. He doesn't want to play this matchup.
No. His opponent, of course, is Dark. Sorry, not Dark, Solar. It's all throwing me all off here. Different Zerg player entirely. Well, I mean, I guess he's just, like you said...
This is a stinky one, man.
Yeah.
This is a stinky series.
Moldy cheese coming out of here.
This one has been sitting on your counter for too long.
It's getting a little bit
You gotta throw out this cheese, man.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this one should be scouted by Solar.
Actually, I don't think so. Look at that.
I think he will.
He changes the path.
He's got the angle.
Oh, but he changes it back. I don't think he's going to see it. So close. He doesn't see it.
He's going to see this.
Okay, he changed it.
Yeah, he will.
He's like, he was like, all right, come on. Let me just make 100% sure.
Already the drones are out, and this might be a quick ending to game number 2. Because Solar is going to say, hey, you just can't build these here.
And also the thing is, Maru couldn't have pulled extra SCVs because he saw the barracks, but the SCVs couldn't see the Overlord. If he doesn't finish either, it's game over. If he finishes this, though, this is still a very much winnable game for Maru. Okay. So now he just has to micro. He needs to pull more SCVs out if he wants this to get anything done. Should make the orbital now. Yep. So makes the orbital. Is not going to remake the barracks. We'll transition. But a lot of drones lose mining time, and it's hard to make the argument that Solar really won hard here. He definitely got what he wanted to do out of these drones, but it was not a winning moment for him, and there were high costs involved. So Maru was pretty happy with the cancel, drops down the CC, and I'd say Solar gets the slightest of leads from this. That's the cool thing. You know, Maru was one of the best 2 barracks proxy players for so long, not because his micro was really good or his proxy locations were super sick. It's because he always was the best at transitioning, and that's what we're going to see here.
Yeah, he will be able to transition into that that second CC. Is just going to play this as if he is, just making that barracks back at home. It will come out a little bit faster, but had to cancel the second barracks. Does mess with this build a little bit, but we should actually transition into a normal game from here. With Solar in a tiny little lead.
It's going to be one of those games where fast forward to 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game. If you tune in late, you would have no idea this game started with the proxy. Ooh, not enough money for the drone cancel there. Barely gets enough at the last second. If Reaper gets any kills, it's a bonus. Going triple CC. Channeling his inner bomber here a little bit with this one.
Well, this is the map to do it on. You can get away with this very, very nicely. You have that small little ramp that you can protect. You can go tanks even if you want to be even more cheeky. And the Reaper's going to keep the Zerg busy. You shouldn't be getting too aggressive on a map like this either. Solar will be looking to just get into it, so I like the choice here by Maru.
I also like the Overlord speed here from Solar because... it looks like his link speed just finished. I thought he canceled it for a second.
Yeah.
It's going to give him the ability to scout the follow-up, because last game, when things didn't go perfectly for Maru and he wasn't able to kill the hatch, lost his proxy, had to float home, he took the aggressive approach. But in this game, he's going to take the passive approach. He's going to take the economic route. And if Solar assumed incorrectly that Maru was going to do another aggressive follow-up and play 2 defensively, didn't drone up quickly enough, then he would be sadly mistaken and Maru would get further ahead as a result. Now that Overlord speed is done, he can verify completely and totally, without a question, without a doubt in his mind, exactly what Maru is doing. We'll see this, sees no stim, sees that's only just done, goes further in to look for the CC, finds it, and now is completely in the know. Knowledge is power, man. Solar's got all the info. In fact, we'll drop a Roach Warren after scouting this.
Yeah, he might get aggressive. Could also just be for defense against any follow-up with the Hellbats if he wants to defend against that, which, I mean, Maru, he already showed it in game number 1, his Hellbat play, in tandem with the Marines, and will be very ready to defend that. As you mentioned, the stim very late, only starting now, does come in and see that, and actually sees the Tech Lab on the starport as well. This is why I love this Overlord speed, because you just know everything.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, I know exactly what you're doing at all times. You can't stop me. until like the mid game, and you have to keep Marines in place. You have to make a Viking. You know, it's really annoying.
Yeah, who said that the StarCraft was a game of limited information? Who said there wasn't perfect vision? He's like, in this case, absolutely not true. Liberator going to come in here. No answer though. Not, you know, you could see everything that's coming at you, but not necessarily know which angle it's coming from. We'll only get the 3 drones. Should be able to save this. But crucially, those roaches I do not believe were scouted.
Yeah, we got
he's making a lot of them. And in fact, yes, the drop overlord, as you said.
Yeah, I don't know if this is really going to work. Can definitely get a lot of damage done for sure if it's not scouted. But the Hellions come over, they see already that a bunch of Lings and Roaches are on the map. So that he's like, okay, let me start some bunkers. Let me make a tank.
Yeah.
And as I said before, how are you going to attack up that ramp? It's going to be hard. We'll see if this works out.
I mean, there's other factors to this too. He's so drone light already, and Harass killed 4 more of his drones, so he got 7 in total with the Liberator. Now auto turret Harass is forcing drones off the mineral line. He's not going to have a lot of steam with this. The first push has to smash Maru, and it may have had he not scouted it, but now that he has bunkers in place, I just don't see this first push working, and the reinforcements are going to be a lot worse, a lot weaker because of the low drone count.
The tanks are so key here. Has to get it in good position, cannot let it get corrosive biles. He gets it up, and the repair is huge. He's going to keep that wall alive. Finally, it goes down. Isn't going to start a new supply depot.
I feel like Solar should be making drones in a 4th base right now that they've seen the bunkers. He's never going to break this, drop overlord or no.
Well,
he's just all-inning super hard.
As I said before, the tank is huge. If he can get everything into the main, which again is going to be really, really rough, as he only does have 1 overlord. Okay, he's just going to go straight for the main, going to use those Ravagers, try to get the corrosive biles. He's trying to get on top of that tank, but he just runs into it. The corrosive biles going down, taking out the Liberator, and not taking out the tank. GG. That is a failed attack, and that is a 2-0 for Maru over Solar.
I feel like we saw some visions of the same Solar we saw against Innovation, frustrated, trying to force things to work, scouting the 3rd base, and deciding this was the only way. But as we know, this was not the only way to defend this. Could have taken a 4th base, played more defensively there, decided to all in after seeing 2 bunkers and 2 siege tanks with the Liberator in position. Biles were not perfect. He forced the issue, and I feel like containing there, taking another base, droning up, could have been the way after showing the Roaches. As soon as the Hellions see the Roaches, and he scouts with his Overlord speed, the bunker's coming up, then it's like, let's take a step back. Let's move back towards the macro play here, because breaking this was like trying to put the a round peg into the squarest, tiniest, microscopic hole.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think, you know, you can try for it. It's definitely an option for the Zerg where you can go in there and say, hey, you're making 3 CCs. I'm going to contain you and make sure that you can't land the CC for an extremely long amount of time. That's what Dark does, right? He's like, he sees blood in the water and he goes for it, but if he sees that he can't make the attack work, he'll use his map control, he'll use that pressure, and instead of just throwing his units away and all-inning, he'll say, okay, I've got you contained, you can't land your 3rd CC, let me take a 4th hatchery, let me drone up like crazy and get way far ahead. But Solar, as you said, it just looks like he's a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, or take a different approach to the main base, not the drop overlords that he wanted to use. The queens there, try a Nidus, maybe something else into the main base could have been the way. Risky, sure, but when you're all in, and he was all in with that one.
36 drones.
And losing drones while doing so to the auto turret harass, losing mining time. I mean, maybe you go a bit further all in if you're going to commit that much and lose the game anyways. You type GG before the fight was over, so.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the marquee matchup of the night, Stats versus Innovation. You don't want to miss this. We'll see you in a few.